Inflation in the UK is trending downward, showing declines in December for a second straight month in line with expectations. Inflation moved further away from October's 41-year high of 11.1% to 10.5% in December. That's as US inflation also slowed to 6.5% from 7.1% in November. The ease in CPI was mainly driven by a fall in fuel costs and clothing, but prices for restaurants, hotels, food and non-alcoholic beverages remained very high. The British economy underwent a shock last September when former PM Liz Truss's cabinet rattled the pound with a budget that slashed taxes but surged spending. Let's get more on this now with Naeem Aslam in London. He's chief market analyst at AvaTrade. Naeem, thank you for joining us. Inflation slowed slightly, but core CPI was unchanged. How worrying is this?
Immensely, because double-digit inflation for the UK is no short of a disaster. You know, if you read a number of articles out there, they are painting a little bit more optimistic picture. Inflation is coming off or easing off from, 40 years high. The reality is inflation is still double-digit in the United Kingdom. And as you correctly pointed out today, the only weakness that we see in terms of the CPI data that was backed by fuel prices only, and that's only temporary because when China demand comes back up, we could see these prices spiraling back higher. But in terms of the clothing and restaurants, we have restaurants in London who've increased prices more than 3 times. Now, not to mention the next move by the Bank of England, where we are anticipating another 50 basis point of interest rate hike, which is going to make the living cost of crisis even more dire for the people living in the UK.
Naeem, really crazy to think that some restaurants in London have tripled prices at a time like this, really. And all of this comes as Rishi Sunak, promised to halve the rate of inflation this year as the cornerstone of his plans for the economy. How will he manage to do that, and will he manage to do that in your opinion?
I think that's an excellent question. Look, here is what my theory is behind this one. Over 4.1 million mortgages are due for renewal this year. So if you were on a 2.5% interest rate, the ongoing rate in the market is between 5% upward to 7%. So to put things in perspective, if your mortgage was $1,500, that's going to go to £3,000. If your mortgage was like £4,000 or £5,000, which is what I am paying, my mortgage is going to double. So you're looking at £8,000 worth of mortgage per month. Where is that money going to be coming from? What is the solution to that? One possible solution is defer the difference in interest rate over the period of 5 years. Now, let me break it down. What does that mean? If anyone was paying 2.5%, let them continue to pay 2.5% for the next 5 years. Yes, the Bank of England wants to increase the interest rate. You can increase the interest rate, but the difference between the old interest rate and the new interest rate should be deferred, that people not paying for the next 5 years, but the cost can spread out over the term of the mortgage, which could be anywhere between 30 years or 25 years, depending how it is. That will ease off some of that living cost of crisis. Otherwise, imagine if someone is paying $4,000, they have to pay $8,000, and someone who was on a $1,500 and paying £3,000 is going to feel the same pain or someone who was paying on a higher rate. The only possibility is defer the interest rate difference over the next 5 years, and then hope for inflation to revert back towards its mean or near its mean, and then by that time we could see, resolve the solution for both of these two issues.
Absolutely, otherwise all of this could potentially exacerbate the cost of living crisis that's already there in the UK. Thank you for your analysis.